If you have questions you want to ask, comments down below this video are more than welcome. Just ask. You can find me on any social media and ask there. I will look at all of them, and then we'll pull questions for the next episode. So let's get into it. I am 17 and have to start a business for school. Any simple ideas? So whenever you are younger, I think it's very easy for people to kind of take things too seriously. So the first business that I started, business in quotes, because I think I was like 14 or 13, I honestly just started selling socks. I just had a thing with socks where I just really liked a certain type of socks. They're called Nike Elite socks. If you're watching the video, I'll put them on screen. If it's the audio version, just go ahead and just search it whenever you get a chance. Nike Elite socks. They are by Nike. They're the socks. You probably saw them a couple of years ago, but they have like dots down the spine of the sock, I guess you could say, like on the back of somebody's leg. But those blew up for a little while, and I kind of saw that as a child that those were going to be very popular because everybody in my school wore them. And I knew that different areas, so like Oregon, for example, they had ones that were branded for their college. And so we had kids in our school who were really big fans of that. So I would go on eBay and I would buy those socks for, $20 for a pair of socks. And then I would go to the kids at my school and I would say, hey, check this out. I have these socks. Do you want them? They're $60 or some stupid amount of money. And people bought them, and I would dye socks and I would sell them there too. I would like buy them from my store in the mall, dye them, and then resell them on eBay or resell them in school, stuff like that. So just be kind of creative, but do something that you enjoy doing as a business. Alternatively, you can always do the tried and true mowing people's lawns. I wouldn't really start a lemonade stand, I don't think, but I mean, you could try it. But something simple that's just very straightforward. Power washing, lawn care, something like that, gardening, cleaning somebody's house, washing cars, detailing, stuff like that is super good because everybody needs it and everybody kind of wants it. So there's a huge market there, and whenever somebody sees a young person doing that, it kind of warms their heart a little bit. So they're like, yeah, I'll let you do it instead of letting, somebody's lawn care company who's 45 years old do it, Plus, your prices are probably going to be a lot cheaper than theirs. They're going to charge like $25 to like $50 per lawn, whereas you could do it for $20 every lawn, and you're undercutting your competition because you live at home with your parents. Makes it a lot easier. My friend and I want to start a business. What should we discuss before diving in? Okay, cool. So anytime you're doing something with a friend or a partner in this situation, like a business partner, you want to discuss a couple of things. One, what is the actual name of your company going to be? Because you want to actually file your company as an LLC, most likely is what you're going to do. And again, this isn't really like legal advice, tax advice, anything like that. Consult your accountants, your parents, whoever else. But typically you're going to want to come up with a name. You're going to want to file that LLC. And then you're also going to want to make sure that both of you are on the company. So make sure that you talk about what percentage each of you get. If it's 50-50, if it's 51-49 or some other split, you want to make sure that all of that is taken care of. And you also want to make sure that each of you know your role within that company. So if one of you is all about, sales and the other one is all about fulfillment, which is awesome, that's a really good dynamic. But if you have two people who just fulfill and you have no sales coming in, that's a problem. So you guys want to kind of talk about that and just make sure that you're on the same page. How will we get people in the door? How will we make money? What do you do? What do I do? And how do we split it? You want to make sure that you have a ton of communication there. That way people, like your partner in this situation, actually understand what is going on, and you don't cross wires, you don't get upset, there's none of that. That is probably the most important thing whenever it comes to a partnership, because if you have bad blood with your partner after the first week, the business is not going to last that long. Question number 3, how do I research my competitors effectively? I mean, really, there's so many different ways to kind of look at what somebody's doing. It kind of comes down to what you want to do. Like, what are you looking at them doing? Like, if you're like, well, I don't know if they're running ads on Facebook, go look. You know what I mean? That's how you can research them to see what's working for them. So, for example, if you are a tiny little one-man roofing company and there's a monster roofing company in your area, what I would do is I would probably look at the ads that they're running and see what is working well. And then you can kind of model some ads like after that, because they have the money to spend to see what works. And then you don't, but you can still look at the ads that they're running and say, oh, okay, cool. Like this ad, and this ad work really well. So I'll just go ahead and just do that. You know, obviously don't rip them off 100% or anything like that, but, you know, use it as inspiration for your own stuff. And then same thing whenever it comes to like if you want to show up higher in search on Google My Business, or I think it's called Google Business Profile now, all you really have to do is just look at who's above you. And a lot of that weight, like the ranking weight, comes from Google reviews, like how many reviews you get, the amount of time that it takes you to get those reviews, and then the quality of those reviews. So 4 and 5 stars. So if they have 150 reviews and they haven't got a new one in 2 or 3 years, for example, I guess, if you start getting reviews, you'll start climbing the ranks a lot faster than them, because even if they're at the top, you could depose them because they haven't had any traction on that front in years. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of different places to look. Honestly, I would just start with like their social media, because their social media is going to be kind of the springboard that takes you everywhere else, right? Social media is going to be, hey, check out this. It's our funnel over here. Or, hey, check out these other social media things that we're doing. And you can kind of get into it from there. So I think that's probably the best place to start. And if you see that they're super active on Facebook or something like that, then you can check their ads and so on and so forth. What are the first steps to take when starting a business with no money? Okay, so I've done this because I started with basically no money whenever I was, I think, 22 years old, 28 now, getting close to 29 actually. But yeah, the first thing that I did was honestly, I created my company, like filed my LLC, and I did it directly through the Secretary of State website. So doing that actually allows you to only pay like $50 to do it, which is really nice because you get to actually file it, you get your EIN, and you know, the IRS reaches out to you, gives you your EIN and everything, so you can open a bank account that is a business bank account for that business, and then you're off to the races. That's probably the cheapest way to start. It may not be the best, so again, talk to an attorney, talk to somebody who owns a business who can actually, like, for your specific use case, give you advice on that. How do I build an audience on social media without a budget? I love this. This is something that I have been focusing on a lot this year, 2025, is just trying to grow organically through social media. I've done it for a lot of other people, and I've done it for myself in the past. Things obviously change from 2015 to 2025. So doing this now is a lot different than it used to be. The good thing is, I think it's a little bit easier, to be honest. So the best part about social media right now is it is interest-based. So it's not follower-based. So I can have 0 subscribers, and I've actually done this. I've had 0 subscribers on my personal channel that I started recently within the last month, and I've had videos that get 500 plus views. The reason why is because the content that I'm making is good and it interests people. Therefore, YouTube is going to continuously show it to more people. Interest-based social media is 100% free, and you don't have to have any kind of a budget for it. Beyond that, if you're talking about gear, start with what you have. Honestly, start with your cell phone. That's it. Turn it like this or like this for shorts and just start recording. The truth is, whenever you're starting out, nobody is watching. Nobody cares. So try stuff out, see what gets you views, see what resonates with that audience that you want. That's the same thing I did when I had 0 views or 0 subscribers, is I just started jumping into it and just kind of like playing around with it. I mean, I have some random stuff on my YouTube channel in the short section, check that out and just look at the massive array of content. I talk about 20 different things just to see what works and just to see what I enjoy. So it's not about the budget that you wish you had. It's more about what you have now. And if what you have now is just your cell phone, that is a perfect starting place because cell phones record in 4K. 10 years ago, the standard was like 720p. So things have changed a lot. You don't have to have a budget. Get started with what you have. How can I protect my business idea from being stolen by competitors? Okay, this is an attorney question. This isn't a me question, really. But I'll give you the best answer that I can, which is you literally can't. You can patent it, but that's going to take a very long time. And there's a good chance that somebody's patented something within your idea to some extent that you can't patent the full thing. It's 2025. Patents have been around for hundreds of years, and the internet's been around for like 50 years at this point, or like 40 years at this point. So don't worry about somebody else doing that. Like, it's not that big of a deal. If that is what is keeping you from getting started, don't worry about it. Get started. I have so many ideas that I run with where that doesn't even cross my mind. It's just, how can I make this work? And we just do it. There's people who are in different spaces who do similar things, but at the end of the day, I'm going to run with my idea until I know that it's been patented, my bad. And the thing is your job as a business owner in this situation, having that idea, your job is to take the idea and to run with it and to make it unique to you, right? So even if somebody copies it down the line, their idea and their presentation is going to be different from your idea and your presentation, even though they may do the same thing. There are how many hamburger places, you're driving down the road, how many McDonald's are there? How many Wendy's are there? How many, you know what I mean? Everybody does something a little bit different. The branding is a little bit different. So don't worry about somebody stealing your idea. It's annoying. I totally agree. But at the same time, do not let that stop you from starting. Get started and then worry about the rest later. And if you can patent it, and then you never have to worry about it. Fantastic. But until then, trust me, just get started. Don't worry about somebody stealing your idea. It most likely will not happen anyway. What are the most common mistakes to avoid when pitching investors? Okay, so this is an interesting one. And we have actually pitched quite a few investors throughout the years for different companies. And I've also seen Fun Awesome go through their initial phases with Y Combinator back in the day when I was a software engineer. So there's a ton of stuff to do and a ton of stuff not to do, obviously. One, you don't want to seem money hungry, of course. You don't want to say like, if you don't invest in us, we'll go out of business. Even if that is the God's honest truth, don't say it. You're just putting pressure on somebody, and that's not going to make them feel good, and they're not going to feel confident in their investment anyway. Because if they invest and stuff goes south anyway, because you're already planning on going out of business, why would they do that? They're throwing money away, basically. That's what it's going to seem like to them. That's one of the biggest things. I can't tell you how many times I've had people who come to me and will say like, oh, I want to get investment for this. And I'm like, okay, well, what's the result of it? Like, what has your company done to deserve any kind of investment? Have you made a lot of money? Have you done, they're like, no, we've broken even. So now we're trying to get investment. And you want to be able to show that you're profitable, and you want to be able to show that you're making money, or at least have some kind of a plan to go from A to Z on how you can make a lot of money and kind of the idea. And you want to kind of take investment money as, okay, cool. So we need to run $40,000 in ads, and we only have $10,000. So will you give us $30,000? We're going to put it towards ads. We're going to do this. This is going to be the predicted result because we did a sample test over here and it did 4x the money. So we could possibly make you 4x your investment. You want to actually show what you're going to do and what you have done in the test that you've done, and show all of that information to them to give them a lot of confidence moving forward that, hey, this is actually going to work out. It's not just a pipe dream, or, we're not trying to just get money. How do I handle clients who consistently pay late? Okay, so late payments are super annoying for sure. It depends on your niche, obviously, or your industry. So for us, if somebody doesn't pay us, then we just don't work. Like, it's that simple. So basically, if we're doing something for you and you have a monthly retainer due of $2,000 and you don't pay that on time, what I do is I send you a text and I say, hey, that payment's due today. When can you get it to us by? If I get no response, or the response is, hey, I can't do it for another 2 weeks, I try to be more understanding and say, okay, no problem. We'll continue working. Obviously, if there's no response, no, like we're done until we hear a response. But another thing that you can always do is, you can turn somebody's site off, you can turn somebody's funnel off, you can turn, there's a lot of stuff that you can do, because at the end of the day, you're a business, you have to make money. They're paying you to make them money or to provide a product to them. So if it's just not happening, at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do. You have to just, hey, I don't work for free. I can't work for free. Late payments are not cool with me. We're going to have to change this, or, we're going to have to split. And mind you, that sucks to do, because people are, they have a life too. They have stuff going on in their life too. So if they can't pay you, or if they can pay you late, either one is unfortunate. It's annoying. What are the best strategies for scaling small businesses? I covered this recently in an article, so I'll link it in the description down below, but I'll also answer it here. There are 3 ways to grow a small business that are basically free. Way number 1 is Google My Business reviews, or Google Business Profile reviews. So Google weights their reviews massively. So the more reviews you have, the higher stars they are. And the more consistent you get reviews, the better. If you get 5 reviews in a week, between 4 and 5 stars, then you're going to see some movement and you're organically going to show up higher in search. We actually had somebody who did a 2-week period where he used one of our software solutions that we sell. It's a SaaS product, but he did a 2-week run where he was really trying to push Google reviews, and he got 6. And so he went from like 57th on the Google Business Profile rankings all the way up to 26th or 28th, just by getting those 6 reviews. And the reason why that works is because they're all 5-star, 4-star reviews. They all came in within the last week, so they're all very, very fresh. And having 5 of those is quite a bit, especially for his industry. He was in roofing. The second thing is content creation, specifically on social media, because it is 100% free. You just have to post and comment and engage and just kind of like, stir the pot basically. So you can post on one profile, you can post, or one platform, you can post on 100 platforms. It doesn't really matter. I would say get started with one and then kind of, add some other ones in there. I personally started with Substack, LinkedIn, and YouTube. The reason why is because LinkedIn and Substack go really well together. All you have to do is you post one on LinkedIn, you can post one on Substack. And it's just really easy to go back and forth between those two. If something can be posted on LinkedIn, it can be posted on Substack. And they're both more professional markets. So they'll actually resonate really well, even if it's similar or the same language between the two of them. And then beyond that, I love YouTube and I love making videos. So I added YouTube as one of those too. So now whenever I post a short, I post it on LinkedIn because it accepts those now, Substack, and YouTube. So now I take one video and I post it in 3 locations that gives me more boost, more reach basically. The last way to grow a small business that is free, or at least mostly free, is through email marketing. So you building your email list as a small business is incredibly crucial because you're building community, which is very important for small businesses. And on top of that, you're also able to reach out to them and be seen by them almost every single day if you want to. So you can send out an email blast about, hey, 20% off black coffee today, or 50% off black coffee today, or if you bring your own cup or whatever, we'll fill it up for $1, no matter what the size is, kind of like the thing that I think like Quick Stop or Internet, whatever it was. Some other gas station did that where it's like I think it was 7-Eleven. You bring a cup of any size and they'll fill it like for a slushie and it's $1. So you could do something like that, reach out to them and kind of advertise that through email, which is incredibly cheap to send out, if not free. So those are the 3 top ways to grow a small business. that are basically free. So I would definitely focus on those 3. But that's all the time that I have for today. I have to get back to work, but this is kind of a cool idea that I had. So I wanted to give it a shot and see what you guys thought. Hopefully you enjoy it. It's Morning Momentum is the random name that I came up with it. So thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. If you have any feedback or you think I'm wrong on one of the pieces of advice I gave to those 10 questions, please let me know that too. And much love. Until next time, peace.